Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a great week. Just want to do a quick update about the COVID changes that have been in place for the protocol since we've been back from winter break. So, as you know, and you've probably heard on the news, the Omicron variant is way more contagious. And so, to slow the spread and not have a lot of kids get it in school and take it home, they have changed the guidance on what we need to do in school when people test positive. So just like before, I'm going to walk you through different scenarios and let you know exactly what we'll do so that it's hopefully less confusing to you. It changes as fast as I give you the information. So the information I'm going to give you today is what it is today, but that doesn't mean it won't be different in tomorrow or in a couple of days. So if you think back to before Christmas break, students could wear a mask and stay in school. We did not have to quarantine anymore. Due to this variant being more contagious and easy to spread, that has changed. So now we are back to quarantining kids and doing that contact tracing. So just to walk you through, the first scenario is that your student tests positive. If your student comes up with a positive test, they will be out of school for 5 days. One of the ways to help you with counting that is there's something now called a day zero. So the first day of symptoms or the day your student tests positive is called day zero. Then you count 5 days from that point on. So if yesterday I tested positive or yesterday I had symptoms, today would be day one. So then I would be out 5 days from that point on, out of school. If that's you're positive and you count your days out, they can come back to school on day 6, but then they still need to continue wearing a mask for 5 additional days after that. So they're going to wear a mask for all 10 days, be home for 5 of those 10 days. The mask needs to be worn correctly, just because they don't believe you're as contagious, but just to make sure we're protecting everyone, it should be a mask that covers the nose and mouth. That's the protocols and what we will be asking those students to do. We will close contact or contact trace anyone that is close to that positive case, just like we did earlier in the school year before they changed the guidelines. So if you are a close contact, that means you are within less than 3 feet to a student for 15 minutes or longer. We now have to do contact tracing and quarantine those students. If you are not positive but a close contact, you will also be out for 5 days, unless you are vaccinated or you've been positive in the last 90 days. So now your mask doesn't stop that like it used to, but you will be out for 5 days just like before. You'll come back on day 6 with a mask on and be able to come back into school. The counting the days is exactly the same as the positive case. There's a day 0 that you were in contact with that person that was positive. Day 1 is the following day, and you count forward there. So the last day that you were in contact with that person is your day 0. And then you would count 5 days out of school and then back in on day 6 with a mask worn properly. All right, sports. I'm going to explain sports since we've had our first couple situations with that today or in the past couple of days. If you are an athlete for middle school or high school, and this could go for all of our youth sports as well, but if you are an athlete that tests positive, we're going to start with the day 0 count again and do the exact same thing. You are out of school for 5 days. And on day 6, you can come back to school with a mask for 5 days. So that really operates exactly like the regular school protocol. The only difference is they cannot play sports for all 10 days. They've been positive. They're unable to take their mask off. It's not safe. So those athletes will, if you test positive, cannot play sports for 5 days. After that day 0. What if you are a close contact with an athlete that has tested positive? This is a little bit different. So if you have been a close contact to, let's just say someone that's a wrestler and they've tested positive and your coach says that you are a close contact, you will be out of school for 5 days, exactly like the rest of it. Starting at that day 1, you'll be out for 5 days. The difference is on day 6, when you come back to school, you can take a test to show that you can go back to sports. Mr. Dunn, our athletic director, does have tests that he can give you so that you can do it at home. This has to be an official Proctored test, it cannot just be where you do it at home by yourself and send us a picture. You have to have it proctored through the company. There's a little note on there of a number to call, and then you have to create an app. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it's the safest way for us to make sure that everyone's tested the exact same way. So on day 6, if you have that test result, that official test result showing you're negative, you will be allowed to play sports again, but you'll still want to wear your mask when you're not playing. So if you're a basketball player, when you're on the sideline, your mask will stay on, worn properly. If you are, but when you're in the game, you can take that mask off and play with an official negative test. So again, athletes that are close contacts are still out for 5 days. They can't do anything. Day 6 through 10, they're allowed to, with a negative test, play sports, but they're still going to wear their masks at school and when they're not on the playing field or court. So again, this is just another way to make sure that we're all protected. Home situations are a little bit different. So if you have questions about mom or dad are positive, and now you want to know what to do with your student, you're more than welcome to call and ask, and we can explain it to you. The easiest way I could tell you is that if mom, let's just say I'm positive and I have my daughters at home, their day 1 starts on my day 6. So basically I have to get through all 5 of my days if I cannot isolate away from them. And then day 6 for me is their day 1, and they would start their 5 days out and then be able to come back. So that's a quick description, but every situation is different. So you're more than welcome to call us, email us, and we can answer those questions. There's also the COVID hotline that you can call questions into, and we can get back to you. Just a quick reminder, we do not know the long-term effects yet of what COVID will do, like many other things that have happened in our history. So just a reminder of the ways to protect yourself. Number 1 is vaccination. Of course, it's a personal decision, but it is the best way. Doesn't mean you won't get it, but you are less likely to get really sick if you're vaccinated. And the second one is about wearing masks. Having a mask over your mouth and your chin can help protect you and others from contracting it. So those are the 2 layers of protection that you can do to help yourself. Again, I know it's confusing. I apologize that there's so many changes all the time. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me, and I will let you know when guidance changes again. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.